Welcome to this session. We will cover the fermented dairy products, which will include the commercial production of Shrikhand, Mishti Dahi and yogurt. Shrikhand, it is a sweet and sour semi-solid fermented product which is prepared from dahi, which may be made from milk or skim milk. The whey is drained off from dahi, and the product which we obtain after draining of whey from the dahi is called as chakka. Sugar, flavor, color, etc., they may be thoroughly mixed into chakka to form a soft homogeneous mass. And Shrikhand, as we know, it is a very popular dessert in the states of MP, Maharashtra and Gujarat, and it is being consumed largely in their daily diets, as well as during festivals and the other important religious functions, etc. Shrikhand, it is a very refreshing product like dahi. Once we go for the product description, it is prepared, I have already told you, it is prepared from chakka or material obtained after draining of whey from skimmed milk dahi or milk dahi. And in case of chakka obtained from after draining of whey from the skimmed milk dahi, the fat may be added to raise the level of 5% in the finished product. Shrikhand may contain fruits, nuts, sugars and saffron, etc., as per the market demand. The BIS, they have formulated standards for Shrikhand for manufacturing a product of uniform quality before it is being sold to the consumers. The good quality Shrikhand, that should have a total solid content of minimum 58%. The fat on dry matter basis, minimum it should be 8.5. The minimum protein on dry matter basis, it should be 10.5%. Acidity, percentage lactic acid, it may vary from 1.2 to 1.4. So, here I will like to say that Shrikhand is a product having high acidity and high sugar content, because further we see the sucrose content in the dry matter should not be more than 72.5%, and total ash in dry matter maximum it should be 0.9%. So, once we see that it is a high fat product and protein content, and with high protein and high sugar content, fat may be vary from 5 to 9 or 10% as per the market demand. The average composition of Shrikhand which is seen in the market, which is sold in the market, it contains the Shrikhand moisture. Earlier composition BIS standards we had seen on dry matter basis, but if we analyze the Shrikhand, the moisture content will be 40 to 43%. In case the moisture is 40%, in such cases the total solid content of Shrikhand will be 60%. The fat is 5 to 6% of Shrikhand, sugar 45%, acidity. While BIS has formulated a standard of not more than 1.4% lactic acid, but the market samples, in the market samples the acidity has found to be around 2%. These are highly acidic and highly sweet product which is generally liked in the states of Maharashtra, Gujarat and MP. The protein content is 6 to 10%, and if we see that protein content is also high in Shrikhand when compared with the normal milk. In normal milk, the protein content may vary from 3.2 to 3.4%, but in case of Shrikhand, the protein content may be as high as 6 to 10%. While we see the manufacturing of Shrikhand, first of all the curd is manufactured out of milk or skim milk, and the lactic culture, primarily Streptococcus lactis or Streptococcus lactis and Streptococcus cremoris, that is deployed for converting of milk or skim milk into curd. Once the curd is formed, the whey is drained out, most of the whey is drained out by utilizing basket centrifuges and subjecting the curd to centrifugal process, where it bifurcates into two things, one is chakka and other is the whey. The chakka is taken out, and for making Shrikhand, an equal weight of sugar in with an equal weight of chakka, they are mixed together, and then this sugar mixed chakka is kneaded and in a planetary mixture for obtaining a homogeneous consistency. Before subjecting the sugar and chakka mix to kneading in the planet mixer, we may add flavoring and coloring agents. Normally, elaichi is added to the planetary mixer because elaichi Shrikhand has very high market demand, and after mixing, the product is cooled and stored at minus 10 degree centigrade before it is packed. So, the Shrikhand, which is cooled at to minus 10 degree centigrade, is kept for 1 to 2 hours before it is packed in cups of 100 ml, 200 ml, 400 ml, or as per market demand, and those cups then they are sealed or with a laminated polyfilm, or the cups can be also sealed with the plastic lids. Once they are sealed, cups are packed in the corrugated back boxes, and those boxes are stored at temperatures at 4 degree centigrade or maximum say 5 degree centigrade. Acidity has a very important role in manufacturing of Shrikhand. The acidity of curd and acidity of concentrated curd, that is chakka, they directly affect the quantity of sugar. So, by controlling the acidity, we will control the addition of sugar, which will ultimately control the protein content of the finished product. So, the protein content of the finished product is indirectly controlled by controlling the acidity of the curd and acidity of the chakka. This is one very important thing which the manufacturers they have to keep in mind while making the market quality Shrikhand. We further see that acidity of 0.9 to 1.1% in the curd after incubation, and an acidity of 2.2 to 2.5% in chakka, which is also called as muska. It requires about 80% sugar by weight of chakka. So, 80% of the weight of chakka, in that quantity the sugar is added, and the acidity of the finished product may be at the level of 2.2 to 2.5%, while we see BIS has specified an acidity of 1.4%, but normally in market or in traditionally in the homes what we make, the acidity is above 2.0%, normally in the varying in the range of 2.2 to 2.5% lactic acid in the finished product. For best results, as a thumb rule, we may add equal quantity of sugar to the chakka. That means, if we have got 100 kg of chakka, we will add 100 kg of sugar, mix it in a planetary mixer for 10 minutes to convert it into an homogeneous mass, and while adding the sugar we may add 80% fat cream also to raise the fat content to a level of 5% in the finished product. I have already told you that a level of 5%, 5 to 6% fat in the finished product is generally accepted as a very high market demand. Now we will come on the yield of Shrikhand. Yield of Shrikhand is 1.5 to 2 kg per kg of chakka, and chakka yield is 65 kg per 100 kg milk. So, if we start with 100 kg milk, inoculated bacterial culture, make the curd, then drain the whey from the curd, we will get approximately 65 kg of chakka or maska from 100 kg of milk. Here I will repeat that whey can be drained from the curd either using a muslin cloth and hanging the curd in muslin cloth for 5 to 6 hours, or whey can be separated, whey can be removed from the curd in a basket centrifuge, or the third method is by utilizing the curd separators. By utilizing the curd separators, the curd is rapidly subjected to centrifugal process and maska and whey, they are separated out. So, if we start from 100 kg milk, we will get 65 kg maska or chakka, we will add around 60 kg of sugar. So, if we start with 100 kg of milk, we will get around 120 to 125 kg of Shrikhand, which is the finished product packet in different capacity cups, 100 ml, 200 ml, or in bulk of 25 kg cartons in polythene film, store it. Then Shrikhand is normally stored. The storage temperature of Shrikhand is around 4 degrees centigrade. I repeat once again, after manufacturing Shrikhand, it may be stored at minus 10 degrees centigrade for 1 to 2 hours before packaging. After packaging, the packed product should be stored at 4 degrees centigrade or below. Now we move to the production of another sweet sour product, that is called as Mishti Dahi or Mishti Doi. In Bengal and Assam, instead of Dahi, they pronounce it as DOI, Doi, Mishti Doi. Mishti Doi is a very sweet and sour product which once consumed along with Rasagulla and Sandesh completes the food on festivals, marriages and special occasions. Mishti Dahi is a sweet sour product which is very sweet, very sour and has a distinct caramelized flavor. It is often consumed in the eastern states, eastern part of our country. It is called as, I repeat once again, Mishti Dahi, Mishti Doi, Lal Dahi or Payodhi. Payodhi, it is a brand name which is very famous in Calcutta for Mishti Dahi. So, here how we see the manufacturing process. Traditionally or commercially, if we see, the milk meant for curdling is first thickened by boiling before adding caramelized palm jaggery or cane sugar, and the curd is formed. Then Mishti dough is a fermented, I have already told you, it is a fermented milk product. It has a caramelized flavor and its color may be creamish to red to light brown. That is why it is called as lal. Sometime it is called as lal dahi also in West Bengal and Assam. It has got the firm consistency, smooth texture and pleasant aroma. Commercially, a number of dairies now they are marketing Mishti Dahi, which is highly acidic, very sweet and caramelized flavored fermented product. Now, if we see the composition of Mishti Dahi or Mishti Doi, the milk fat content may vary. Good quality 8 to 9% milk fat, milk SNF 10 to 11%, sugar 17 to 18% and total solid is 35 to 38%. Once we compare it with the buffalo milk, the fat content is higher as compared to the buffalo milk. It is 8 to 9%. SNF also is very high, 10 to 11%, while in case of buffalo milk the SNF may vary from 9.2 to 9.5%. Sugar, there is no sugar in milk, but here the sugar content is 17 to 18% and total solid which is around 15% in the buffalo milk may vary in the range of 35 to 38% in case of this product Mishti Dahi or Mishti Doi. Here we will see the industrial production of Mishti Doi. Earlier in the very beginning I had told you about the traditional method where palm jaggery or cane jaggery used to be added to the concentrated milk. But in case of commercial production, we take milk, buffalo milk 6% fat, having 6% fat and 9% solid not fat. But in case of dahi, we restrict the fat to 3% normally or 4.5% maximum in case of manufacturing normal dahi, and SNF level may vary up to 12 to 14% in case of normal dahi. But in case of Mishti Dahi, the fat is 6%, SNF we take milk 9%, we heat the milk to 40 degrees centigrade and add the SMP to raise the SNF content to 12%. Here also the SNF content is raised to 12% like the plain dahi, where the SNF content is raised from milk level of milk SNF level of 9% to 12 to 14%. This is followed by addition of caramel at the rate of 0.1 to 0.12% before heating. In the traditional method, the caramelized sugar is added and that imparts a distinct flavor to the finished product once it is manufactured at village level in a traditional manner. But here I am talking about the industrial production of Mishti Dahi. The process has to be standardized and we have to get a product of uniform quality and which is manufactured as per the liking of the consumers or as per the demand in the market. So, we once again come back to the process. After addition of caramel, the sugar is added at the rate of 17% of milk. That is, if we start with 100 kg of milk with 6% fat and 9% SNF, we will add SMP to raise the SNF content to 12%. Then we will add caramel flavor, synthetic caramel flavor at the rate of 0.1 to 0.12%. Then it will be followed by addition of cane sugar at the rate of 17% of milk. Then it will be heated to 85 to 90 degrees centigrade for 5 minutes. Here it will be after heating. Once it is heated, it is to be cooled down to the temperature at which it is to be inoculated with the bacterial culture. in traditional method, once it is Mishti Doi is being manufactured at the village level or in the houses, it is cultured with the old Mishti Dahi, but in industry the starter culture of generally the Streptococcus lactis is being added at the rate of 1%. Sometimes the addition of culture may be done at the still higher level at the rate of, for achieving still higher acidity, 1.5 up to 1.5% starter cultures is added. Then this is filled in plastic cups of 100 ml and 200 ml or in small matkis of 85 ml, and then those matkis are sealed with aluminum foil, plastic cups with aluminum, plastic cups also sealed with the aluminum foil or plastic lids, then incubated at 40 to 43 degrees centigrade for 6 to 8 hours and or till the acidity rises to a level of 0.7 to 0.8% lactic acid. Then it is stored below 6 degrees centigrade and dispatched to the market for consumption. After manufacturing Mishti Dahi, after manufacture of Shrikhand, Mishti Dahi, both of these products are sweet, sour, fermented products. I will rapidly cover the manufacturing of yogurt. Yogurt is nothing but a form of dahi also. I have already told you in dahi the bacterial culture used is primarily Streptococcus lactis or a mix of Streptococcus lactis and Streptococcus cremoris, but in case of yogurt the bacterial culture utilized comprises of Streptococcus thermophilus and Lactobacillus bulgaricus. So, the active yogurt culture comprises of two bacteria, I repeat once again, Streptococcus thermophilus and Lactobacillus bulgaricus. Streptococcus thermophilus that grows best at 38 degrees centigrade and acidity level of 0.8 to 0.9% may be achieved, while in case of Lactobacillus bulgaricus the acidity level, it grows best at 42 degrees centigrade and higher level of acidity, that is 1.2 to 1.4% of lactic acid may be achieved. So, both of these bacteria, that is Streptococcus thermophilus and Lactobacillus bulgaricus, symbiotically grow and bring about the lactic fermentation in the milk for converting milk into the yogurt. The yogurt may be plain yogurt, it may be partly skimmed, sweetened, flavored and fruit, depending upon the type of milk which is being converted into manufacturing yogurt. As per PFA, as per that is earlier PFA and FSSAI standard, the fat content should not be less than 3% in case of plain yogurt, and the total solid content shall not be less than 8.5 and the protein content shall not be less than 3.2%. The acidity as lactic acid shall not be less than 0.85% and not more than 1.2%, and as per FSSAI there should be abundant live bacteria present in yogurt and it should not be less than 10 lakh of bacteria per gram of yogurt. Once the yogurt is subjected to heat treatment after fermentation to temperatures not less than 65 degrees centigrade, it has to be mentioned on the labels. The fat content I have already told you, it will vary from 0 to 5%, solid content from 9 to 20%, Lactobacillus bulgaricus and Streptococcus thermophilus is the bacterial culture. Sometimes Leuconostoc strains, that is Streptococcus, may also be utilized. Then process for manufacturing yogurt is the same what we have followed for dahi manufacturing, and it is also stored at 5 to 7 degrees centigrade. So, this is about the manufacturing of yogurt. Thank you.